Oh, heck, I'm rolling. I started the camera on accident that time, friends. That probably doesn't surprise you any, though, does it? So, probably the most profitable thing we do year in and year out is cut and heat with firewood. And I don't mean profitable in the sense of selling firewood, though some people do well with that. I've not really even tried it. But just the bang for the buck when you compare what it would cost us to heat with propane or electricity. A little bit of redness from the allergies, folks. But that's been our most profitable thing year in and year out. And we usually get a lot of life out of a chainsaw. And the cheap chainsaws are fine, but if you can move up, a Poulon or a McCulloch, you'll do all right with it. They're worth the money. But if you could spend a little bit more money and move up to a Husqvarna or a Steel, you'll probably spend 2 to 3 times as much, depending on where you buy it, if you catch it on sale and whatnot. And the saw will probably go 3 times as long. So either way, you buy more saws or run one saw longer. But again, now there's an expense. And on the wood stoves, I got lucky. When I bought mine, I managed to catch it on sale for $150. It's a simple cooking stove, EPA exempt, and my house was set up for a wood stove originally. It was simply a matter of going back to it. We had propane stoves at the time. Some people say not to do that. Don't go from propane or natural gas back to wood or coal, but I've never had any trouble. So we've access to trees. We have our own, and we've had access to wood on other places. And there's a lot of it in the country that needs to be cleaned up. And it's dead wood, and most of it's not good for anything else. Some of it's all right for lumber, and we've chainsaw milled some stuff or figured out some other way to cut it, or built with poles, usually like fences and whatnot. And what else? We've cut a lot of slabs, and we have sold some of those. So usually sell those on the eBay store. That's I believe it's Anoka Butte lumber. If you're curious, that's actually why we started this channel, was for that store, and we've never used it for that. But we've used it for the homesteading. We started with a greenhouse. There just weren't a lot of videos up on the greenhouses going up, and especially we wanted to document was unloading it and showing people how it came. Anyway, I keep getting sidetracked. But actually, not really. The high tunnel, the greenhouse, that's a good one you can take in and you can take advantage of. A lot of people don't seem to know about this program, but part of the USDA is an office called the NRCS, the Natural Resource Conservation Service. There's one in your county. They're they're conservation-minded people. They're good people. They're good to work with. Meet them, give them a call, stop in the office, talk to them. And one of the NRCS programs is actually a high tunnel. And NRCS probably paid for about 80% of the cost of our high tunnel the first time. The second time we put it up, we had to buy all the lumber, and we did that both times. But the high tunnel kit itself, they actually bought. So that's a good program. They're putting a lot of them up out there. They want them up, and I recommend taking advantage of it, getting into the program, and making use of it. Sometimes especially on the conservative side of it, people feel funny about federal dollars. I don't know what to say. State dollars, grant dollars, it's tax dollars. It's true. I mean, this is a investment our public officials have decided to make. One on people on both sides of the aisle. It's something they want to see. They want to see more production. They want to see more season extension. It's all about food security. I mean, the government's concerned about it too. If you don't want anything to do with the government, that's fine. They're going to tax you and deliver mail and stuff anyway. They still know where you are, so you're not going to escape them fully. But I choose to work with them. They've been a great agency to work with, good people. And, I mean, they're among my friends too. So, small rural community. So yeah, there's a program you can take advantage of. That one will help you, and that's probably one you're going to have a chance of qualifying for. There's a lot of stuff that can be hard to take advantage of, but most small farmers ought to be able to qualify for that. You might have to be persistent. It might take you 3 years to get one. And if you can't get one when you want one, you can always build one from scratch. We did our first one. We bought 20-foot lengths of half-inch conduit, and we bent them over, and we bought a greenhouse cover and stretched it over. And we've had that up for almost 10 years, and we've grown a lot of stuff in it too. It's not in the best location. It doesn't get much sunlight during the winter. You can't use it at all then, but then it's too cold anyway. So it's a good season extender, especially in the spring. It's hard to get stuff going in that one in the fall. Now, you need to get it started in the summer. It's just too hot. So it's limited utility the rest of the year. But in the spring, it's allowed us to have greens early. That's been the big boon that one's been for us. So these things are doable. I'm not trying to discourage anybody. I'm just trying to point out some of the obstacles and have you hopefully be a little more prepared for them. So let's see, we talked about the high tunnel. We were talking about firewood. You know what? I suppose we should come back to that. So in my case, we bought the wood stove on sale for $150. I had a chainsaw or two. And we put the wood stove in and we started heating. And, in our case, that was something that paid back in about a month's worth of heating. So in your case, it might be different. It depends how much you've got to set up from scratch. If you've already got one, hey, great. If you've already got one installed and it's safe to use, better yet. If you've got to set up from scratch, you're probably going to spend as much money for 1 or 2 winters setting the wood up as you would just buying propane. So, these are the trade-offs we have to make. And trust me, I know, I remember starting. It can be awfully frustrating, because every time you turn around, you're making this investment that requires a payback. And it never seems to end. Like we talked earlier in the first video, the meat grinder, that was $600 or $700. What else? Chicken picker. I built my own years ago. I still spent $600 or $700 on that. You could get by spending much less. I chose to have a custom stainless steel tub built. Part of that is because we were doing it commercially at the time. If you can get a hold of a PVC barrel, or maybe use an old washing machine tub, that would work good too. I actually have a nice coating on it. People have had pretty good luck with the barrels. And actually, you can buy the machines much more affordable now. I think it's Featherman, they make a nice one. And I've seen them. They're nice machines. If you can afford that, great. There's lower cost alternatives if you can't, and sometimes with the stuff, it's nice to have the premium tool, the premium machine, but sometimes you need to start with what you can. Sometimes you build something of your own, sometimes you repair something old, put up with the breakdowns until you can buy better. And, and sometimes it works out. You can buy the quality new machine at the start. And, sometimes it's hard to know. So what else? Yeah, so there was more money. Scalder, chicken scalder, you can use a pot. I've done that. I've actually bought my scalder. I was in the hatchery there in Norfolk picking up chickens. They're gone now, but one time, and they had these scalders out for a couple $100. It was a simple fiberglass tank using a water heater like you'd find on your hot water heater. I bought one of those. I eventually built a cabinet around it with insulation in it so it holds the heat longer. If you can throw a cover over it, and especially some fiberglass, foam, it will hold the heat longer. But again, wasn't terrible. There was another $200. We built our first chicken shelters, there was a little bit of money for lumber and chicken wire. And some of the stuff we've been recycling for 20 years, and you got to throw a new piece in, but it helps over time. But getting started, yeah, it's aggravating every time you turn around. Oh, what else? Well, if you got questions, pop in on one of the videos. We can talk about just about anything, friends. Tell you what, I'm not done with this conversation. I won't forget about it, but I'm going to do another set. We'll catch you in a little while. Bye.